Imagine a world where a single man could manipulate an entire nation's stock market. Sounds like fiction, doesn't it? But it's a reality that unfolded in the early 90s in India, led by a man named Harshad Mehta. Born into a modest family in Rajkot, Gujarat, Harshad Mehta was not one to let his circumstances define his destiny. With a fiery determination, he entered the world of stocks and shares, quickly making a name for himself in the bustling commercial capital of Mumbai. His natural knack for understanding the intricacies of the market, combined with his relentless ambition, set him on a path that would soon shake the foundations of India's financial landscape. But to truly understand the magnitude of Harshad Mehta's exploits, we need to dive into the Indian stock market scenario of the early 90s. It was a time when economic liberalization was just taking root in India. The stock market was still a new concept for many, and regulations were evolving. It was, in many ways, the Wild West of finance, a landscape ripe for exploitation by those who knew how to navigate its nuances. Now let's talk about securities and banks. In simple terms, a security is a tradable financial asset. It can be anything from shares and bonds to debentures. Banks, on the other hand, are financial institutions that are legally allowed to accept deposits and give loans. They play a crucial role in the functioning of the economy, and in the world of securities, they are often the intermediaries that facilitate transactions. Harshad Mehta, with his keen insight into these mechanisms, saw an opportunity that most couldn't even fathom. He noticed a loophole in the banking system that could be exploited to inflate the stock market artificially. And with that, he set in motion a series of events that would lead to one of the biggest financial scams India had ever seen. And so, Harshad Mehta, the man from modest beginnings, poised himself on the precipice of an incredible financial exploit. The 90s saw Harshad Mehta rise like a colossus in the Indian stock market, earning him the nickname the Big Bull. Just like a titan, Mehta towered over the financial landscape, his influence rippling across the stock market. He was a man who dared to dream big, and his ambition was reflected in his meteoric ascent in the world of finance. Harshad Mehta was nothing short of a financial wizard. He had an uncanny knack for identifying undervalued stocks and investing in them, thereby reaping massive profits when their prices soared. His success was not just a product of his sharp investment acumen, but also his ability to exploit loopholes in the banking system. You see, Mehta discovered a chink in the armor of the Indian banking system. He understood that banks often lent money against government securities. However, these transactions were not immediate. There was a time lag between when the securities were sold and when the money was transferred. This gap, known as the settlement period, was Mehta's golden goose. He manipulated this system flaw to his advantage by using fake bank receipts, making it appear as though the money was in transit, when in reality, it was being used to fund his stock market investments. This was like a high-stakes game of musical chairs, and Mehta was the conductor. As he continued to buy shares in bulk, stock prices soared. The market was booming, and Mehta was at the helm, steering the ship towards uncharted territories. His audacious moves, coupled with his charismatic personality, made him a revered figure in the eyes of many who saw him as a symbol of prosperity and success. But as we know, all that glitters is not gold. What seemed like a brilliant strategy was actually a house of cards built on shaky foundations. Mehta's tactics were not only unethical but also illegal. His actions were akin to playing with fire, and it was only a matter of time before the flames caught up to him. The stock market was his playground, and he was the puppeteer pulling the strings. But every rise has a fall. As the saying goes, pride comes before a fall. And Harshad Mehta, at the height of his glory, was about to learn this the hard way. Enter Sucheta Dalal, a fearless journalist with a nose for the truth. Dalal's investigative skills led her to uncover the web of deceit that Mehta had spun around the Indian financial system. She found anomalies in the banking sector, particularly in the trading of government securities. The key instrument of Mehta's scheme was the bank receipt, or BR. These were essentially IOUs issued by banks, affirming that they had the government's securities sold by brokers like Mehta. The catch? These BRs were fake. Mehta didn't have the securities he claimed to sell. He was using the cash from these sales to inflate the stock market. Dalal exposed this scam in a blistering article, and the house of cards began to crumble. Mehta's empire, built on deceit and manipulation, started to fall apart. The market crashed, wiping out billions of rupees in investor wealth in a matter of days. Panic ensued, and the public's faith in the financial system was severely shaken. The authorities were quick to act. Mehta was arrested, and the fake BRs were seized. The banks that had been duped were left in a lurch, and the entire financial sector was thrown into disarray. The titan of the stock market, the man who had once been hailed as the big bull, was now a fallen hero. But Mehta didn't go down without a fight. He claimed that he was merely a pawn in a much larger game, a scapegoat for the inherent flaws in the banking system. His argument, however, did little to sway public opinion. The damage was done, and the empire that Mehta had built was now in ruins. The puppeteer's strings were cut, and the puppet show was over. But the aftermath was far from over. The fallout from Mehta's scam was catastrophic, shaking the very foundation of India's financial system. The reverberations were felt far and wide, a seismic shock that sent tremors throughout the country. Imagine this: the stock market, once a bustling hub of activity and optimism, was now a ghost town. The Bombay Stock Exchange Index, or the Sensex as it's known, had plummeted from a dizzying height of 4,500 points to a mere 1,500. It was a financial tsunami that wiped out billions of rupees in a matter of months. Banks, the pillars of our financial system, were not spared either. The scam had left them on shaky ground, with many teetering on the brink of collapse. The impact was so severe that it led to the closure of many reputable banks, leaving thousands of employees out of work and countless investors in the lurch. And what about the investors, the ones who had put their hard-earned money into the market, hoping for a better future? They were left high and dry, their dreams shattered, their trust broken. Many lost their life savings, others their homes. It was a grim reminder of the perils of unchecked ambition and unregulated markets. Meanwhile, Harshad Mehta, the man at the center of this storm, was arrested and charged with 72 criminal offenses. His meteoric rise had been followed by an equally swift fall. From the penthouses of Bombay to the confines of a prison cell, his journey was a cautionary tale of greed and deceit. But Mehta's story doesn't end there. In 2001, while still in custody and fighting the legal battles, he suddenly died. The cause? A massive heart attack. His death marked the end of a tumultuous chapter in India's financial history. A story that began with ambition and greed ended with destruction and despair. But what can we learn from this? We'll explore that in the next scene, where we delve deeper into the lessons learned from this financial fiasco. This scene script. Every story, especially one as dramatic as Harshad Mehta's, has lessons to be learned. In the wake of the colossal financial scandal that Mehta orchestrated, the Indian financial system underwent significant changes. The loopholes that allowed such a massive fraud to occur were identified and sealed. Regulatory bodies like the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, became more vigilant, and stricter rules and regulations were put in place to prevent such a situation from recurring. This was a wake-up call, not just for India, but for financial systems worldwide. But there were also lessons for individual investors. The Mehta saga underscored the importance of due diligence. It reminded investors that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. It reinforced the need for financial literacy, for understanding exactly what you're investing in and the risks involved. It highlighted the danger of blindly following market trends and so-called hot tips. And it wasn't just about financial literacy. Ethical investing also came under the spotlight. Investors were reminded that ethics and integrity matter, that chasing quick profits at the expense of honesty can lead to disaster, that greed, in the end, is not good. This leads us to one of the most crucial lessons from the Harshad Mehta story: the importance of integrity in the world of finance. Mehta's story serves as a stark reminder that while financial acumen and ambition can take you to great heights, it's integrity that keeps you there. Without it, even the mightiest can fall. So as we reflect on this chapter of financial history, let's remember these lessons. Let's strive for financial literacy, let's invest ethically, and above all, let's value integrity. Because in the world of finance, integrity is the most valuable asset you can have. Harshad Mehta's story serves as a stark reminder of the perils of greed and the importance of integrity in the world of finance. This is at Tech Finance Facts, signing off. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay smart, stay safe.